It's kind of hard to do an intro for a video like this because this is a culture channel and I'm always like American reacts, American reacts, American reacts. And it's always like hypothetical things or things that just aren't prevalent and like real. But in this moment, like this video, the topic of this video is actually happening. So it's like, I don't know, I just have a different feeling about this one. Like I'm sad, I'm remorseful, I'm empathetic to you guys. But at the same time, I'm like eager to learn and understand what's going on. So I don't know. It's just a lot of feelings going on right now. Ladies, gentlemen, everything in between, hello, welcome to the channel. Today we'll be reacting to a video called What Happens When the Queen of England Dies. As we all know, Queen Elizabeth II, it was just announced like an hour or two ago that she has actually passed away. And can I just say, I was freaking shocked because we've known for the last few months that her health, like she's been getting visits from healthcare workers. She's been going to hospital. You can see in pictures she has like bruising on her hands, which I assume are from IVs. So we know that she's been having like health issues or just things of that nature going on. And now all of a sudden for them just to say, hey, the queen is dead. I'm like, whoa, what? After almost 100 years, like she's just gone like that? What? She honestly, I feel like the next video we have to do on this channel will definitely be like how much of an impact she had. Like I know she was involved with World War II. I know she was never just like, oh, a female who's in the bloodline to become queen. Like before that, she was involved, with the people, all that. She was the queen's people. So I feel like that's also why a lot of the emotion and like heartache is going around right now, because Queen Elizabeth was the queen of the people. I'm rambling on. Anyway, let's get into the video. Again, this is what happens when the Queen of England dies. We're about to see what happens next. I know, I always call him the bald guy. I'm so sorry. I know that's kind of disrespectful, but the bald guy, I think he's about to become king now, or he might already be king. This video is going to teach me all I need to know. So let's get into it. Like the video, subscribe if you're new here. And here we go. The Queen of England, man. It's crazy. Like, our entire lives we've known Elizabeth, so it feels a little weird. Anyway.
She's the longest reigning monarch in modern history and has ruled England as queen since 1952. But as Queen Elizabeth II passes her 96th birthday, many are wondering what exactly is going to happen when she dies. For those of us living outside of the UK, you might not be fully aware of who Queen Elizabeth II really is.
Sorry, y'all. 1 second. There we go. Oh. Ooh. There we go.
Is or what she actually does. If the UK is a democracy, then what does a monarch do?
What happens to the corgis? Because if this was ancient time and like they would bury them with her, but we're not in those barbaric days anymore. So what happens to the corgis?
The answer is, well, not much. Queen Elizabeth II took the throne of the United Kingdom and the other Commonwealth realms on June 2nd, 1953, when she defeated the gargoyle armies of the sorceress Morgana by wielding Excalibur, which she pulled free from a stone. Admittedly, our historical knowledge of the British royalty is closely intermingled with King Arthur fiction, and Wikipedia tells us that there was actually no climactic battle for the throne of England. She simply assumed the throne after the death of her father. How boring. Ascending to the throne.
But can we actually talk about, like, I know, like, personally, would I want a monarchy for the United States? Absolutely not. We are ridiculous people, so that would not go good. But for y'all, I think it is really cool that a whole bloodline for centuries has just been, like, the ruler. Like, her grandfather, or her father, his father's father, his father's father's father, his father's father's mother. Like, it's all the relatives have been, in this one position, and now it's going on to the next successor, the bald dude. Someone please let me know his name, no disrespect. But it's just, the bloodline thing is kind of cool.
At age 25, Queen Elizabeth faced an empire
at
in serious
25?
decline and a crown which faced ever-increasing irrelevancy.
In November, I turned 24. So you're telling me if I were Queen Elizabeth next year, I would be the queen of a whole country? Oh my God, I don't know. Imagine. That's crazy. Imagine the pressure she was under when she was 25. That is so young. And I know that we have like limitations for how young our president can be. How young can a US president be? It's like in our Constitution. you have to be at least 35 to be president in the United States. So Queen Elizabeth would have had to wait a decade after her father died. That would have been trouble. Because
While
people
the
try
power
to
of the
steal
British
the throne.
monarchs has been in flux over the last few centuries, it was in the 20th century that Britain decided to remove all power from the crown. The Parliament Act of 1911 stripped much of the power from the vaunted House of Lords and accelerated the decline of political power amongst the British royalty and nobility. By the time that Elizabeth took the throne, the title Queen of the United Kingdom and other Commonwealth realms was actually more of a formality than any kind of position of real authority.
Okay, so I like that though, because you still have your tradition in the monarchy, but at the same time you have more of a like democratic thing, like the people have more influence, which is what we based our country on, the United States. The people have the power. I like that. It's like a balance for you guys.
Though she did receive all of the castles and jewelry that came along with the title, today the Queen has several ceremonial duties and has no real political power to enact change or policy.
I thought y'all, that's not true, because y'all told me that if she really wanted something, she could just revoke something, or she could, like, she has the ultimate power if she disagrees with Parliament. And on top of that, didn't she just... My mom's home, in case y'all hear her in the background. But you know how, what's his name? The guy who just dropped his position as prime minister, the Queen is the one who enacted the next lady, wasn't it? And there were pictures of her shaking the lady's hand all over Twitter, and that's how I saw the bruise on her hand. So the Queen does have some power.
She opens each session of Parliament and grants royal assent to new legislation, meaning that she formally approves the signing of new bills into laws. But the act is completely ceremonial and unnecessary for the functioning of the UK government, as no monarch has refused to give royal assent since Queen Anne refused to assent to the Scottish Militia Bill in 1707. Were that to happen again, and it absolutely wouldn't, then technically the entire government would have to resign and a new one would be drummed up, and it would bring the British political process to a complete halting crash and earn the deep ire of the people.
You have to, this isn't just about England, this is about Scotland, this is about Wales, the Republic of Ireland, and all the other places around the world that are, how do you even say it, run by, owned, whatever, that are influenced by England, Jamaica, Nigeria, a bunch of other places. So this isn't just like an important day for England. This is like all the English influenced countries. Like, this is important for everybody.
And thus, there's no chance of any monarch not assenting to a government bill. When you are out for lunch with friends and give your imaginary stamp of approval over a good meal, you're wielding about as much political power as any modern British monarch. Aside from these ceremonial duties, the British monarchy does do some good for England by acting as ambassadors for the country abroad. Despite thousands of years of oppression and a hard-won struggle for international democracy, many people are still enamored by the thought of lords and ladies who rule over them. Thus, the Queen and her family travel the world, spreading a diplomatic message crafted by the British government. As a titular figurehead, the Queen and royal family is technically the face of Britain. But what happens when she dies? Given her age, it's predicted the Queen will pass away after a short illness. During this time, she'll be surrounded by her closest family members and trusted doctors.
No, I saw that it was announced, like it was trending #1 all over Twitter in a bunch of different countries, and it said that her family went to visit her right now in Scotland. And I'm just like, where was... Like, we didn't get to know, hey, the Queen is sick right now, the Queen is suffering from this, from that. It was literally just bomb drop, the Queen has passed. So I'm just like, has she been, like, dealing with the... We know that she's been sick for months, but right now, as of yesterday, was it really just, like, all of a sudden she's passing away? Or what was the build-up to it? There's a whole process to health. It doesn't just... I mean, I guess it can. That's not true. I guess there doesn't have to be a whole build-up, but... It really is just like a bomb drop, though. All of a sudden, hey, the Queen is dead. Like, what?
News of the Queen's death will have to be carefully disseminated to the public, and some details may need filtering to keep the air of royal mystique intact. Once she's officially passed, an initial press bulletin will be prepared by the royal family, and immediately the task of safeguarding Britain from gargoyle attack will fall upon Prince Charles, who will become the new king. To show their allegiance, his siblings will then ceremoniously kiss his hands.
I thought Prince Charles already dead too. The other old guy. Is Prince Charles dead? What? Yeah, King Charles III. He's dead too. So the new king will be Kate's husband, right? Let me know.
Vowing fealty to the new king of the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister will be alerted so that the actual British government can prepare to handle the news and any resulting fallout. Favour for keeping the royal family around and Britain technically a monarchy hovers at just over 50% in most opinion polls, and thus the Queen's death is bound to be distressing for a majority of people.
Only 50% of the English want the Queen and the monarchy still around. That's not a high number. Honestly, I would want a higher number.
The news to the Prime Minister will be relayed via pre-planned code in order to prevent the press, gargoyles, or any foreign agents from finding out beforehand. The news will then be immediately broadcast via secure communications channels to the 15 governments where the Queen is still technically head of state. This includes Canada, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica, Bahamas, Belize, New Zealand, Tuvalu, Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, and Australia.
Biggest shocker, and I know y'all are going to be like, Favour, come on, but Australia and Canada, because you think of them as like their own sovereign nations, kind of like the United States. Like, yeah, they were related to England, but like they broke off and did their own thing. But no, they're still run by England. And New Zealand too. Interesting. Canada, because you always see Canada like they're this big old country with their own prime minister who is usually hot. That dude with the dark hair, he's hot. But yeah, it's just interesting to know that they're still technically British colonies, if you will.
Papua New Guinea, and Australia. In many of these places, the people deeply resent their colonial past, however, and thus the news might not be greeted with the somberness some people might hope for. A casual shrug might be the best the royals might hope for. At Buckingham Palace, a footman will be dressed in mourning clothes and proceed to pin a notice to the gates of the estate.
Oh, that was like a gut punch. A few years ago, I actually traveled to London and spent like the whole summer there, traveling, visiting family, and a big part of what I remember the most about it was being at Buckingham Palace and seeing the gold arches, the gold statue in the middle of the roundabout, and just like all the people who are just so happy to be there, and like looking at the guards through the bars, and to like think right now in this moment, they have now posted a paper saying basically the Queen has passed. Oh my God.
And the website for the palace will be replaced with a single page, mourning the Queen's passing. However, most of Britain will learn about the news from the BBC's Radio Alert Transmission System, also known as RATS, or as some British people call it, Royal About to Snuff
RATS.
It. This system was designed during the Cold War and meant to survive even a full-out nuclear attack on the home isles.
Oh, we need to, I was about to say, we need to steal that. Oh, American. We need to borrow that from you guys and make it our own, if you will. Invent and innovate and develop. We need to steal it. Because that's a good idea. I mean, we came up with that coding when it's like beep, 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 beep. But I feel like that's a better system, because what if your beep, beep, beep goes out? You still need to communicate with people if you're in like submarines or, you know, whatever, for whatever reason communication is blocked, you still need to be able to communicate with your team. So slide that over here, because we need it.
Radio stations around Britain will also receive an alert via a network of obit lights, a notification system meant to warn radio DJs of pending catastrophic national news. The alert signals that they should be prepared to switch to a national news broadcast soon and play inoffensive music in the meantime. Typically, this will be pre-generated playlists of mournful music. The British media will be wholly consumed by the event of the Queen's death, and on-air anchors will change to black dresses, suits, and ties.
Holy crap. So literally every aspect of media completely stops, from pop, rock, whatever the topic is, a special topic. We don't care about Adele and her husband problems. Right now, everything is turning into the Queen has passed. That is very special, and that is not something that you would see over here. Like, I feel like y'all get I feel like I've read this before, y'all get a day off. Like, tomorrow is Friday, and technically that's a weekday, which would be mean you have to go to work. But I think you get to stay home now. Over here, we wouldn't get that luxury. If today Joe Biden were to, God forbid, something happened to him, the country would still be going. Nothing would change. It would just be like kind of another day, even though we're all depressed and sad about it. It would literally just be another day. You're expected to go to school, to work, all that. But y'all, it's like you're all in mourning. The country would legit be in mourning in every aspect.
Radio stations across the country will play all the same news directly from the BBC. On TV screens, the
BBC has y'all in a chokehold. Is there like a monopoly for media by the BBC? Gosh dang, what would our BBC be? CNN, Fox News.
Royal Standard will be shown with somber music playing over it on repeat for a few hours. Periods of silence lasting up to 5 hours might even fall upon the British broadcast media. The internet naturally will be relatively unaffected.
The Lions.
Both houses of British Parliament will then be immediately recalled, and many people will be allowed to go home from work early as the nation enters a period of mourning.
Yeah.
Then the process of bringing the new king up to speed will begin. Over the course of 9 days, which have already been scheduled and planned to the most minute detail, King Charles will undergo the necessary ritual proclamations and undertake a tour of the foreign nations that make up the United Kingdom: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean the Republic of Ireland. I said the wrong one. It's the Northern Ireland, not the other Southern Ireland.
Security will be tight, as there still exists plenty of anti-royal separatists in territories like Scotland and Northern Ireland, but any attack on the new king will be largely symbolic of a greater desire for independence from the UK. The passing of the Queen will have a substantial effect on the British psyche, as she represents a period known in modern British history as the Great Decline. Since even before her birth in 1926, Britain's former power as the greatest empire in the world was already in decline. But the process only accelerated during the dawning of World War II.
Wait, what's this backstory? Someone let me know the lore behind Queen Elizabeth's prior people, her ascendants. Or, no, ascendants would be the guy who's about to be king now, right? Or those are her descendants, but he's about to ascend the throne. The people who came before Queen Elizabeth II, what was the drama there? What did he mean?
For many British people, Queen Elizabeth remains the only link between the modern world and the former glory of the UK.
Yeah.
And with her death, so too continues the decline in power that the nation has so far been unable to abate. While a completely symbolic position, the British crown is still a symbol of great significance to many, and a hope that one day England can become as great as it once was. Unless King Charles fails to defeat the gargoyle armies as his...
Okay, he's joking. I don't think England is in a huge decline, though. Like, y'all are still our ally. I would say we still respect you, for the most part. You're not like some loser trash bag that no one wants on their team when a war starts. But I saw that Buckingham Palace on Twitter made a statement, and it's apparently from the new king, so I wanted to read that and see what it says. If I can get this to work. 1 second. I gotta figure that out. Okay, I figured it out. The statement said, excuse you. It says, Buckingham Palace official statement. A statement from His Majesty the King at the time of the Queen's death. His Majesty the King. Y'all aren't singing anymore, God Save the Queen. Now you're singing, God Save the King. That's, it all feels so weird. But it's a transition that has to happen. Anyway, the death of my beloved mother, Her Majesty the Queen, is a moment of the greatest sadness for me and all members of my family. It really is easy just to see them as political figures, but at the end of the day, this is legit. Someone just lost their grandma. Your grandma that's so sad. We mourn profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and a much-loved mother. I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth, giving very much the Game of Thrones. What is the realm? What is y'all's realm? Time machines or something? Anyway, and by the countless people around the world. During this period of mourning and change, my family and I will be comforted and sustained by our knowledge of the respect and deep affection in which the Queen was so widely held. Thursday, 8th, September 2022, a date that will go down in history. First of all, I just want to say the way that they spoke in this was very, very nice. Their language, their word choice, you can feel the emotion and the strength behind it. Though it's definitely all about mourning, you can also feel the power and I don't know, there's just a lot of emotion behind the words here, and I really like that. But King Charles, apparently from that video, is now the King of England. The King of the Commonwealth, the King of the Realms. Stan Daenerys Targaryen. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Sorry for your loss, guys.